Okay, things are getting quite interesting on the JRPG front, the RPG front. We've got some massive news across the Nintendo Switch and more, and I want to get into all of that, which includes the huge news on Level 5, the big mistakes that are coming, and some things that could come of this from Level 5's huge announcements on DECAPOLICE, Fantasy Life, and more. Dragon's Dogma, Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince, the first reviews. Things are looking pretty good despite a little bit of a sketchy demo on the Nintendo Switch. So much to get into and more. But before we do, what's good everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my RPG news, Nintendo Switch video lists, and more as soon as they drop. And thank you once again for all the support and love on the channel. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the information here. Let's start off with Capcom's first $70 title with Dragon's Dogma 2. We've got brand new information on the game, and yes, Capcom is officially making the jump to the $70 MSRP club, at least at launch. So Dragon's Dogma 2 will officially launch for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam on March 22nd, 2024 for $69.99. Now there will be a deluxe edition for $79.99, which includes the base game and downloadable content, a boon for adventurers, new journey pack, and it includes a bunch of camping gear, music and sound collection, some smoke beacons, and a bunch of other in-game stuff when it comes to models and points and all sorts of things. There's also a pre-order bonus guide as well, so all of that information can be found, link in the description below when it comes to Dragon's Dogma. But I think what's more interesting here is Capcom going to the $70 model, especially for their big RPGs. Now we all know that Capcom makes another pretty big action RPG, and that is Monster Hunter, which is rumored to be announced sometime in 2024. So you can bet that that will also make the jump to $70 as well. And you know what? It's been going in that direction. Heck, Nintendo even had their own $70 game with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So you know that if Nintendo's doing it and Sony's doing it and Microsoft is doing it in some sense, right, with Starfield, you know that it's going to happen with Capcom and their big games. And they are expecting Dragon's Dogma 2 to be a massive seller for them. Now, one thing that I do want to note, which we'll get into a little bit more here, especially with Nintendo Switch 2 or the next gen Switch, is that Dragon's Dogma 2 has a chance at probably being on the Nintendo Switch 2, considering that Dragon's Dogma got ported over to the Nintendo Switch when nobody was really expecting that game, because it's not like that was a massive, huge seller or had a in with the Nintendo base. But there you go, it was on the system and it did pretty well, all things considered, and how late it was. So I would expect a port of Dragon's Dogma 2 to the next Nintendo system as well. But once again, that's speculation on my end. Now, what's not speculation is what's going on with Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince on the Nintendo Switch. We have the first review scores for this game. It's dropping this week, if I'm not correct, or it's dropping soon. I'll get the official date for you guys on screen here. But yeah, looks like Dragon Quest Monsters The Dark Prince Famitsu has got the beat straight 9s. It got a 9, 9, 9, and 9. 36 out of 40, which is essentially pretty much a B+, A- right there in that range. Not bad at all when it comes to Dragon Quest Monsters. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how RPG fans react to this. This is a little bit of an alternative take on Pokemon, or at least it's Square Enix's take on Pokemon with the Dragon Quest franchise. You can use a bunch of different monsters, sub them in and out of battle. It's got a pretty gripping story where they're actually including main characters from past Dragon Quest games, or at least one Dragon Quest game, and that ties into it. So it seems like this is more canon and this is more serious than normal, and it's resulted in a pretty good review score from Famitsu. Now, we do have to wait and see, because Famitsu is all over the place. Sometimes they're dishing out fantastic reviews, in terms of what they have to say and their multi-tiered score system, then other times they're giving games that deserve not to have great review scores get great review scores. So we're gonna have to wait and see till all the reviews come out and everything. But at the end of the day, you can play the game yourself. If you're interested in a game like Pokemon and you like RPGs and you like Dragon Quest, or even if you want to get into something that's just not that, or maybe this is your first one, you can try it out for yourself. There is a demo on the eShop. Now, that's not representative of the final build of the game, so I'm guessing that the final build will have improvements and upgrades and be a bit better, but at the same time, it still gives you an idea of what to expect with Dragon Quest Monsters, as Dragon Quest is popular here in the US, but not as popular as some other RPGs, and you also have to factor in that this is a side thing to the mainline Dragon Quest games. So Dragon Quest Monsters absolutely isn't as popular as the normal mainline Dragon Quest and other RPGs out there. So check out the demo, see what you think for yourself, and of course, we'll wait for the reviews to come out on multiple different places. I think I'm getting a review code for the game, so I'll give you guys my own impressions on my live stream. So make sure you guys tune in, hit the notification bell, make sure you guys subscribe, check out those live streams that we do daily here on the channel. Now let's go ahead and jump into something else when it comes to RPGs, and that is The Legend of Legacy HD. We have a brand new release date for this game. We got the remastered version of it, March 22nd, 2024 here in the West. Now, this was a very interesting Nintendo 3DS title that didn't quite live up to sales projections, I guess. They were expecting this game to be a bit bigger. I remember there was a lot of hoopla surrounding this game when it first came out. The developers were very proud about what they've been able to accomplish or do on the Nintendo 3DS. And when I played the demo, yes, I was very impressed for that system. They had a lot of systems, a lot of cool mechanics, a lot of different things, and the game seemed very, I would say, advanced, right, for a Nintendo 3DS game in terms of what they were trying to do visually and everything. And it kind of shows, because this remastered version looks beautiful even on HD hardware, but it's the base of the Nintendo 3DS game, so it is pretty impressive. Now, obviously, this isn't a AAA type of RPG, or even like up to where Atelier Ryza is at this point graphically, but I think that it was impressive in terms of what they were trying to do with the Nintendo 3DS, considering how limited that system was to carry memory and do RPGs. So a lot of developers had to find really unique ways to get their games done. But now we have official release date. We do know that The Legend of Legacy HD Remastered will launch PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam once again on March 22nd, 2024. And there is a bunch of stuff that this game does. You have the great storytelling. You've got some really good JRPG developers that worked on this game, 7 heroic journeys, and combat innovation as well. And that's what I kind of want to focus on, is that combat innovation here, because I find it to be pretty cool, especially when I first played the game. So battle enthusiasts can discover a new level of challenge during combat by using formations and stances to assign flexible combat roles instead of fixed classes. So you can kind of switch that on the fly, and it creates a little bit of a euphoria when you're playing. You're like, okay, I have this class, this formation, this thing, and I can switch it up and do whatever I want instead of worrying about tying one person into that and building their whole stat line based off of it. You can switch on the fly based on your formation and what you do with your equipment. So not bad at all, and I really enjoyed it when I did play it. I'm not exactly sure why I didn't buy it on the Nintendo 3DS, but I know I played the demo, or I played it at some point. So The Legend of Legacy HD coming out next year, which is becoming vastly packed with big JRPGs all pretty much throughout the first half of the year. So look forward to that, guys. It's going to be pretty interesting. Now let's get into this next topic here, guys, because this is absolutely crazy. Level 5 has released a slew of information based on a bunch of games that people knew weren't coming out this year, but there has been stacked delays across the board. So we're gonna run down each of them, and we're gonna focus on the 2 big ones, which a lot of you guys wanna know about, which is DECAPOLICE and the new Professor Layton game. So those 2 games have been delayed, but there's some interesting things surrounding those games that absolutely tie into potentially the Nintendo Switch 2. So let's go ahead and jump into the first information here. We have Megaton Musashi Wire. That has been delayed to April 25th, 2024. But remember, guys, this game is pretty cool. It's a mech action combat RPG type of game, and you will have cross save and cross-play supported on every platform. So this is something that I've been begging Square Enix to do with their RPGs, so I can buy a PlayStation 5 copy and a Nintendo Switch copy, and I can have easily cross-play, cross-save in terms of me playing on my TV with my PlayStation 5, then taking a portable version on the go. I guess now you can do that with the PlayStation Portal, but I don't want to rely on internet or anything like that, or leaving my PS5 on rest mode 24/7, so I prefer a Nintendo Switch version. So that is awesome that they're doing that. So I'm looking forward to the game. It looks really cool. The combat looks fast, fun, and varied, and it's just a game that I think that's just going to be really fun to play overall. Now let's go ahead and jump into the next delay or game here, and that is Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. That officially launches in summer 2024. We've got a brand new trailer and upgrades over the previous entry, so if you're into the Fantasy Life series, this is probably going to be the ultimate game for you. They're doing a lot of different stuff here. They've got a bunch of new customization, new features. You have island customization, landscaping, character interaction, exploring the abyss, traveling 1,000 years into the past, gathering different type of things, new player actions. You've got a big story mode with avatar creation, live selection, familiar faces from the series coming back, main quests, lives quests, islander requests, event battles, rebuilding the present island. So a lot of stuff there. A little bit of Animal Crossing in there as well. You also have multiplayer, up to 4 players, co-op, free exploration, and challenge quests, plus crafting as well, town planning, building your own house, islanders houses, guild houses, building infrastructures. The game looks pretty incredible. It's a big update over what they've done before in terms of graphically with the Fantasy Life series. So if you're into this, definitely get ready because it's going to be a huge adventure for you. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the next thing here, guys. And we're talking about Inazuma 11, a game that seemingly has been in the blocks, right? Has been in the blocks on the development table for a decade at this point. I think it started 2016. So yes, it's definitely a game that's taken quite a bit of time to come out. So we have a release year for 2024, and we have a Switch beta test set for March 2024. So that will definitely be interesting. Now, this game, it's a soccer RPG game with a story and all of that. We have seen Inazuma 11. I've covered it a number of times. Check out my previous videos if you want to know a bit more about it, but I will talk about some of the new features. You have the revamped match system. You have a story mode, chronicle mode, online multiplayer, versus, and other stuff as well. The library, cast switching events, all sorts of extra goodies for players. And let's get into the beta here because I find this very interesting. So the worldwide beta test demo will include the following features. You have single player, team selection, difficulty selection, online player versus player, random matches, private matches, team selection, character progression, save function, but you can't transfer that over to the main game. And then you also have the story mode. You get 1 chapter of the story mode. So this is a pretty in-depth beta, and I'm looking forward to finally playing this game. I'm not a big Inazuma 11 fan. I've always wanted to try out the series more extensively than, like, I think the 3DS game that I played back in the day, but I've never really put any serious time into it. When I play this beta, this will be the first time that I'm really trying to get into the Inazuma 11 series. So we'll see how it all works out there. But this is the big information that we all need to get into here that you guys have been waiting for, and that is DECAPOLICE and Professor Layton and how that ties into the Nintendo Switch 2 and what's going on here. So we've got a massive delay for DECAPOLICE. This game was supposed to launch in 2023, but now it's looking like 2024, maybe even 2025. Now, I want to get into all of this because this is a game that I'm really anticipating. It's one of my most anticipated titles that I put on my list and everything. So let's talk about it. So DECAPOLICE has been delayed to ensure thorough development in both quality and quantity of content. We've decided to take a little more time. So level 5 is delayed. Crime suspense RPG DECAPOLICE from its previously planned 2023 release window to 2024. It will be available for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Switch. And honestly here, guys, I'm probably thinking that it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. So, quote, the open world crime suspense RPG DECAPOLICE received high praise after we released a trial version at the Tokyo Game Show. Level 5 President and CEO Akihiro Hino said during the Level 5 Vision 2023-2 presentation, to ensure thorough development in both quality and quantity of content, we've decided to take a little more time. As far as Level 5 games go, this title possesses a vast open world of unprecedented size. We the aim to build a dense and immersive world filled with opportunities to play. Various incidents will occur in many different locations, and many of them are full of surprises. This is the kind of gameplay we're aiming for with DECAPOLICE. Now, the level 5 vision event, it was a whole video that talked about a lot of this stuff that I'm summarizing for you guys. So of course, if you want to watch the full thing, all the information, there will be a link in the description. Level 5 is doing their best to provide English-speaking users and the world to their plans, because there was a lot of hoopla, there was a lot of talk about how Level 5 has abandoned the West and they're not back. And I think that this whole company reorganization or planning or strategy on making sure that they get their information and their games out to a worldwide audience will pay off. I know that they're taking a lot of delays and hits and people are talking about it, but I think that this will pay off at some point, because I think that DECAPOLICE, I think that Professor Layton, that we're going to talk about in just a bit, and a lot of these other RPGs, a lot of these games are going to do way better than simply focusing on Japan, releasing them there, then waiting a year or waiting however long before they give English-speaking users information about the game. So I think that this will work out with their plan. Kind of sounds, obviously, they're taking their time and they're making sure they're delaying things, but at the same time, I think that it's the right strategy. Now, DECAPOLICE is a game that's going to be immense in size. They've already been tweaking and rechanging things. If you look at the initial trailer for the game and how the combat worked, it was completely different, or not completely, but it was very different from what we saw at the Tokyo Game Show. So they already revamped a big major aspect of the game with the combat system. So it looks like they want to also revamp some of the things. Now, one thing that we did see in the demo at the Tokyo Game Show, the open world was kind of sparsely populated and it didn't really seem like you can go everywhere. They were intentionally avoiding kind of going off into other areas, and they just beelined it straight to the objective, and which I understand. I think that they're trying to give people a real sense of a fluid, open, and immersive world. So I do understand them taking some more time with this type of game. I think that they need to take their time, because remember, this is their grand return. This is a brand new IP. This is a first impression. You don't want to have a lackluster low 70s or 60s rated game, which this could easily be that. If the world, if the music, if the combat, if everything doesn't gel, it can easily be that, and that could tank this new IP. So I think that you need to take your time, delay it, and make sure everything is right, because this is a game that people are really looking forward to. The style, the aesthetic, the gameplay, everything looks smooth, but you don't want to mess it up to where your scores get into the 70s or the 60s. You want this to be an 80s plus rated game so people have confidence in your brand going forward. Review scores aren't everything, but first impressions can mean a lot to people, so you don't want to start off on a bad foot for DECAPOLICE. So I completely understand the delay, and the game looks great from what they've shown before, what they showed today. I think the game is going to be awesome when it eventually does release, and I do think that Nintendo Switch 2 is absolutely tying into this. This could be a very early Nintendo Switch 2 title. There are some people that are saying that they're delaying this to like 2025 maybe as well, so we'll see exactly when it comes out. But whether it's 2025, whether it's 2024, based on whatever they're saying here, I think that Switch 2 is going to come into the equation here at some point, as this game is probably going to resonate more with Nintendo fans based off of what I've seen from the trailers and the views and what people are just saying overall. Now let's go ahead and jump into the next thing here, which is Professor Layton, and this is a Switch exclusive for 2025. So they are reaching when it comes down to this, and this is the reason why I'm talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 here. There's no chance that this new game, in my opinion at least, is coming out in 2025 and it's only going to be on the Switch. It's definitely going to be a Switch and a Switch 2 game. So let's go ahead and jump into what they had to say here. So Professor Layton and the New World of Steam will launch for the Nintendo Switch in 2025, Level 5 has announced. Now the story depicts the world 1 year after the events of Professor Layton and the Unwound Future. The story takes place in the Steam Bison America. There, the power of highly advanced Steam engines has ushered in a new world, greatly surpassing even London's technological developments. Due to the mysterious incident in Steam Bison, a new adventure for Professor Layton and Luke begins. Now, you have the characters so far that they've revealed, Professor Layton and also Luke, and they go into describing those two characters. Of course, if you want more information, check out the link description. They talk about the characters and a little bit more about the game. But what's interesting to me, one once again, is the fact that this game has been delayed, or this game has been pushed, or this game has been announced for 2025. That is far away right now at this point. Now, we are at pretty much the end of 2023 as of the time of me recording this video, so I completely get that. We're in 2024 pretty much already, so 2025 the next year. But it's interesting because a 2025 Nintendo Switch game, there's no way. Switch 2 is definitely going to be a factor here. Now, if you look at the gameplay, the new gameplay that they showed off, this game looks incredible. Now, art style obviously is big here in terms of what they're doing, and this isn't a huge action-paced game with huge monsters on screen and a bunch of stuff going on, but they've been able to squeeze out pretty much every inch that they can get from the Nintendo Switch if this is indeed Nintendo Switch footage. And if it's not, maybe it's PC simulating what they're going to do with the Nintendo Switch 2 or a higher resolution model of this same game. But yeah, Level 5 absolutely, in my opinion at least, has development kits, and they're working on Switch 2 stuff. DECAPOLICE, in my opinion, and Professor Layton, in my opinion, those are going to be Switch 2 titles. And I think that a 2025 release definitely leads to believe that that could be the case. But what are your thoughts on this, guys, when it comes to everything with Level 5? I know there was a ton of information here. You guys can let me know in the comment section. And if there's anything else when it comes to RPGs or when it comes to other types of games that you want me to cover, of course, let me know in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it in live streams or in future JRPG view videos. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out our other RPG news and RPG videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.